This is TWiT.
Today, we get new iMacs, but don't get your hopes up. These are not Apple Silicon. In fact, this is almost certainly exactly what Apple was referring to when they said we still have some Intel Macs in the pipeline. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, your last Intel Macintoshes. They are the same design. They basically just put 10th generation Intel chips in them. Is that right? Renee, you already have done you're good. You've already done a video on YouTube about this.
Yeah, so it's basically what they did with the 13-inch MacBook Pro, and that is they took the same chassis, they updated the silicon to the latest Intel generation, which is just more cores on the same process node. We all know that story by now. Latest AMD graphics, but also because the density and the pricing has changed on memory and storage, you can go up to 128 gigabytes of RAM now on the iMac.
And by the way, I would suggest
and 8 terabytes of SSD.
Because I have 64 gigs of RAM on my iMac Pro, and I still am able to reboot it just by leaving photos open. So get 128 gigs. Maybe.
Well, if you use Logic, especially like Logic, you're hard limited for the number of instruments based on the quantity of RAM. So
That's
if you are, you've been salivating for this, basically.
64 seems ridiculous. Except that there must be a memory leak in photos, because if I leave it open, invariably I'll come back to a rebooted Macintosh. I'm so glad they got rid of that stupid Fusion drive. This was long overdue.
It's still on the very bottom, very
the 21 inch,
21 inch, yeah.
But for most of them it'll be SSDs, thank God.
Yeah. But what's this about? Like the minimum being 256? That's like. I mean, I've got more storage. It seems like a chintzy amount of storage. Yeah, that's like exactly. It seems like it's there like the Cadillac that says, oh, you can get one without a radio, without air conditioning, and it's in this ugly color. But for $20 more, you can get the executive. It seems like it's only there
Andy,
so that people can think, oh, I'm not getting the cheapest one.
That's exactly why. That's it. That's a well-known. The people, Freakonomics folks, what do they call that? Behavioral.
Marketing tactic.
It's a marketing tactic. That's why the Wall Street Journal has a subscription level you will never, ever in a million years buy, because it makes no sense. It costs more just to get the paper than to get the paper plus digital. Because they know no one's going to buy that one. That's the bottom of the line.
Well, it's the crappy microwave, right? Like there's the crappy one that always breaks that you never want to buy. There's the normal one, and then there's a normal one that's just made out of more expensive parts.
I do have to admit, they offer that 256 gig storage across the entire 21-inch line, so maybe it isn't completely the crappy version.
The usual story you hear about that is that it is intended for people who are almost entirely on external storage, and all they really want is to boot up the machine and don't want to pay Apple a dime.
They also offer an 8 gig RAM configuration for the same dumb RAM. I honestly think it's so that they want to get you loosened up a little bit. Come on, just spend a little more there. Come on, just get
that low price on
once you start doing the build to order, it's hard to stop.
It makes the lowest price one, just speaking to the marketing that you're talking about, it makes the lowest price one seem low, where you go, oh, you know what? It's only $17.99. I can do that. And then, you're looking at the specs and you're like, oh, I'm going to get a little more RAM. And then it jumps up. But you jumped into the pool because you saw $17.99, Yeah.
Did they upgrade the iMac Pro? I don't think so.
Yes.
They did.
What's new in there?
I mean, so to speak.
Yeah, they basically now that the regular base iMac nothing is about as powerful as last year's iMac Pro, they basically boosted the cheapest buy-in for the iMac Pro to make it as powerful as a little bit more powerful than the most powerful iMac. So make it more a transition between iMac and then actually a jump to the lowest iMac Pro in terms of performance, and then up from there.
So the iMac Pro always started at 5,000, but now you get a Xeon W10 core. That's
10 core. Yeah.
That's the same, isn't it? Or no, you got 8 before.
It was
6
8 core before.
Okay.
Yeah.
32 gigs of RAM. They've always gotten that. A terabyte storage. That's maybe. So okay, I get it. So they're not putting newer chips in the iMac Pro. Only in the iMac. 10th gen. I mean, I don't know. Is there a 10th generation?
It's not clear to me
Xeon?
what Intel's doing with Xeon.
At
this point.
Good Lord, it's about.
Although they have been updating the AMDs.
So glad they're abandoning Intel at this point. It's just depressing over there. So 10th generation. Let's just see how much Just see how much you'd pay.
Yeah, I did that. It's amazing, Leo. Just hide your wallet first.
Hide your wallet. So just the base model 27-inch 5K is $22.99. Do we want to get nano texture glass?
Yes.
No. We disagree on this. Yes. It's just such high maintenance. It looks gorgeous, but you have to use a special cloth to clean it.
Yeah.
And I know I would never do that.
And why do you like it, Lory?
Because it's got little bumps on it that I've been wanting to touch for the last 2 years.
But you can't
less glary. It's less glary, right?
It is. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I have seen it on the Pro display, and it's really beautiful. It really does look. So I love the idea of a matte screen, but I don't love the execution of most matte screens. They kind of look like there's a film of Vaseline over the front of them, and the nano texture on the XDR Pro definitely does not have that. So presumably this screen would be the same. It would be clear and crisp, but also matte.
Lory sold me. Sorry, Rene. We're going to spend $500 on the nano texture. Let me just
point out again that she got yelled at by Phil Schiller for trying to touch.
Yes, yeah. No,
I did.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. That's
At least
hard.
I asked permission.
Yeah, it's hard not to. You can get an i9 in this one, 10 cores. Nice. Again, don't know how that compares to the Xeon W 10 core. It's faster in its single chip clock speed, or max clock speed is 3.6 gigahertz, up to 5 gigahertz. RAM, that's where we're going to go crazy. Look at that, $2,600. You're more than doubling it if you just go to the 128 gigs RAM by itself.
I think you should start with, you should get the 8 gigs because you can add RAM to the 27-inch
that's right. It's got a little
you can
porthole.
get a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on the 27,
good advice.
Start with the basic.
On any Mac that it's easy to add RAM, and that's not all of them, it would
I think
be worth,
it's only the 27-inch iMac and then the iMac Pro.
Yeah.
You can't do it on the 21-inch.
Does it? But if you get 8 gigs, does it mean fewer slots, or no? You get the full complement
you still
of slots?
You still get the number of slots. You just don't get the
So then go to Other World Computing or Crucial or somewhere, Corsair. Get your own RAM. You'll save money. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. So we're gonna get 8 gigs. Now video cards. We're still stuck with these pathetic Radeon Pros.
They say next generation, but they're not Navi 2 as far as I could tell. They look like they're just RDNA.
Yeah. So I wouldn't spend any money on that. Storage goes all the way up to 8 terabytes. But
again, you can't change them later. So if you do want to do something
you're stuck
that's more
with the graphics
capable,
card.
that's your only.
You might want to max that just because that's the best you can do. Can't you use an eGPU with this though?
Yes.
So that would be your way of getting a better video card down the road.
And to be fair, eGPUs are about the same price as a high performance graphics card you get for Windows. So there is some equivalency there.
Yeah. Storage wise, I think it's nutty to go to 8 because I think you don't want to put all your eggs inside this basket.
Particularly because the basket is sealed up and you can't get at it easily.
Yeah, get a terabyte.
If it was a laptop, I would say do it because traveling without external drives is just so much easier, safer, and better for data protection. But if it's sitting on your desk.
Yep. 2 terabytes for I always get 2 terabytes for my laptops, 1 terabyte for my iMac or desktops.
I'm going to get 8 gigabytes next time. Terabytes, sorry.
You're going to get 8 terabytes?
For the next laptop I get for sure because Final Cut Pro is so thirsty.
Jeez,
it is
Louise.
so thirsty.
All right. Well, that'll be that Mac Silicon one. By the way, that is one thing now. They all have T2 chips. Yep. And they all have upgraded 1080p cameras. One would think for face recognition, but no.
Not the 2.5, not the 21-inch. That's still got the 720p potato cam.
It's so hard to believe. And my iMac Pro actually has 1080p. It has a very good camera on the iMac Pro.
It's a good camera.
Yeah.
It should be everywhere.
Yeah, that's good.
But the T2 does also gives us faster SSD performance, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically the A10 chip from the Apple from the iPhone 7. So it's got all the storage controllers, the image signal processor.
Isn't that amazing? And then you can get regular gigabit Ethernet or for $100 more 10 gigabit Ethernet.
It's basically a coprocessor, but I wonder if their deal with Intel prevents them from ever calling it that.
Yeah.
The T2?
It's just a controller chip. Please.
It does the H.265. It does so much. It does all the audio processing.
So without buying the 8 terabyte, I did buy the 8 terabyte. Let's go back down to 1 terabyte. With the 1 terabyte, I did actually get this pretty close to the cost of the base model iMac Pro with 64 gigs of RAM and a 10-core processor. I think this is actually, you're right, this verges to iMac Pro territory. But here's the real question.
Get the 10 gigabit Ethernet.
Why?
It's only $100 more.
Oh, you might as well.
Yeah, it's not our money.
Here's the real, I'm still under 5,000.
Get the hat.
There's a hat?
It's got to be a $380 hat.
Why isn't there a hat? Hey, at least it comes with a stand. That's a blessing. Why would you buy an Intel Mac at this point?